At least when measured in pound sterling, gold seems to be at pretty much an all-time high at the moment. So what's ahead for all of us? Is it worth buying more and carrying on stacking at this particular price point? Is it worth trying to sell for whatever you can get for it? Let's have a look at a couple of possible strategies. Certainly, if you look around at eBay, if you look around at auction houses, if you look at Facebook groups, if you look at posts on the Silver Forum, there is absolutely no shortage of people who want to sell their gold at these prices. And most people seem to be trying to sell their gold based on spot related pricing rather than numismatic pricing. You start to see graded older sovereigns in fairly mediocre grades coming onto the market at basically around about the cost of the spot bullion price plus the cost of the grading, and those coins can be a real bargain sometimes. Since the beginning of the year, we've seen a rise in spot of over $100 an ounce for gold, and the rough exchange rate between the pound and the US dollar had stayed constant, a little bit of an improvement over historical exchange rates, but not really still at the right point. So the way I see it, you've got two risks or two considerations. The first one is that in an era of overproduction of money, in an era of panic about the coronavirus and various other kind of world crises, then there is an upward pressure on gold. And at the moment, you've got roughly $1,600 an ounce, and I wouldn't be surprised in the next year to see that head up towards the $1,900 or $2,000 an ounce. At the same time, you've got the problem of exchange rate management if you're in the UK. So for us guys over here, we're at 1.31 pounds to the dollar, and historically the pound against the dollar has been roughly at 1.5 to 1.6. It seems kind of empirically to me that the pound is still pretty much undervalued against the US dollar, which means that there is a pretty good chance over the next 2 or 3 years for the pound to go back to that 1.55, 1.6 kind of area. So it's really about timing, isn't it? So that, while the pound is at 1.3 and providing it's not going to move very much lower, then if the gold price, the gold spot price is going to go up to maybe 1,800 and then over the $2,000 barrier, that there is still a case for buying gold even at these prices. Although to me it seems a pretty expensive time to start buying gold, and in a way I far prefer to buy numismatic coins, which are not quite as well regarded in terms of investment potential at these prices compared to bullion based coins. And I guess that right in the middle of that is semi-numismatics, so coins which have some of their price based on the bullion content and some of their price based on the numismatic or collector's premium content. So I'm a little bit on the line away from gold bullion right at the moment and towards semi-numismatic bullion and also older numismatic coins, which I think are potential bargains, I think, at the moment in a way, although the market for them is maybe a little bit less liquid, and there is a need sometimes to use more specialist channels when they are sold. I guess in many ways this video is made for the collector as opposed to the bullion, hardcore bullion stacker. And so, what is the best strategy for collectors in this kind of market? And I think probably the thing to do is to cherry pick. is to find coins that have a high numismatic potential for the future, which will help mitigate some of that risk, and also which have a good bullion content, maybe coins which are national mint coins, maybe royal mint coins from 10 years ago or 15, 20 years ago, that are in good condition, that can be graded, that maybe can be picked up at auctions, either local auctions or eBay auctions, at at something fairly close to the bullion price, because then you have two potential areas of gaining on those coins. One of them is the potential numismatic premium, depending on what happens with bullion going forward, and the other one is that the bullion rises and the numismatic premium doesn't really count for very much going forward in a rising bullion market. So I guess to me that would be the best of both worlds and the way of mitigating risk when it comes to that kind of purchase. In fact, this one here is a good example of a coin which is semi-numismatic, low mintage, and can be picked up for a relatively modest cost sometimes and then graded. When the quality of the coin you receive is important, it really has to be the Coin Connection, the only mainstream dealer of modern coins that checks your coins and makes sure that you get the quality you deserve. Promotional code for February is Lindsay. That's code Lindsay for 2% discount. You've then got a whole other side to this equation, which is palladium, platinum, rhodium, and coins made out of those kind of materials. Palladium has done incredibly well, and a lot of people think that palladium has actually got quite a way to go. I'm not 100% sure on that, and have one palladium coin in my collection, an eagle that I bought in 2018. Palladium was about $1,300 an ounce at the time, or maybe even less than that, and the US Mint were charging about $1,400 for that coin. It's now at roughly $2,700 for that coin, and maybe it'll go higher than that. So palladium and rhodium maybe not so much of a bargain at the moment, but is platinum of interest? People say that platinum is potentially undervalued at the moment. Maybe there are platinum coins around which can be picked up for a modest amount over the metal value, and those coins could be worthwhile over a 2 or 3 year period, although people who look at this, analysts, say that maybe the uses for platinum compared to palladium are going down, and that's one of the reasons that palladium has been going up, and therefore platinum is potentially going nowhere. But I think that at some stage platinum has the potential to go up by a percentage, but it may be palladium has the potential to go up even more. And like gold, all of those things are also currency plays when you have the pound against the dollar at 1.3 compared to 1.5. So that's just a little bit more risk as well that there is for currency issues that get in the way of the potential profit on that investment. It's not quite as clear. And maybe we'll do another video and talk about silver as well. I'm not really a massive fan of silver, but maybe it's now time to consider silver. Silver's had a pretty good upward movement to over $20 an ounce potentially, and I think that now may be a reasonable time to talk about silver, silver supply, silver coins, buying silver, and maybe a whole video on silver is something that is pretty much due over the next couple of weeks. But there you have it. That's just my view from a collector's perspective, not a metal investment person, not a precious metal strategist, just a guy who likes to collect coins that are often made of precious metal, and trying to work out a plan on how to deal with the impact of that metal on collecting. So hope you enjoyed that. Please subscribe if you haven't, and
clicking on
onward
that notify
and
bell
upward
as well.
towards the next video pretty soon.